Welcome to the Guntersville Grassroots Podcast. It is June the 26th, I believe, 2024. It is hot. It is way hot. Trey Swindle is kind of here, kind of not here. Trey, I'm glad you're here. I hope you don't melt out there getting ready to go play golf. This
is a first. I'm here. I'm just not sitting beside you.
That's right. This is the first phone call with Trey Swindle. Does that make you special now?
Maybe.
I
don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. So our schedules wouldn't work when I could do this and Trey could do this and then our guest today could do this. So Trey may hang around for the guest. He may not. We'll see how that plays out here in just a little bit. But either way, first off, I leave this off, so we're going to throw it in here again. Presented by RecLending.com. If you're looking to buy a boat, and you're looking to borrow money to buy a boat. If you're not, you're lucky. But if you're looking to borrow money to buy a boat, check out RecLending.com. Boats, RVs, they also have insurance and warranty issues. So be sure and check those guys out if you're in the market. Now, back to Trey. Trey's got a little story. Trey just got back from, I don't know, where were you?
Eufaula, Oklahoma.
Okay. And you did not have a bad trip.
I did not. It was a good one. It was my first week with a camper shell sleeping in the truck. So that was an experience in Oklahoma in June where the lows at night, I think the lowest it got was 84. So sleeping in the bed of your truck when it's 84 degrees was definitely an experience, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you, if it turns out like this one did, I'll do it. I'll do it every single tournament. It was an unbelievable week. It really was.
You ended up what? Fourth, yeah. And had a shot to win.
Day one. I did, yeah. Day one of the tournament, I had 17-2, and I had that by about 9 o'clock in the morning. Just kind of hung around on that place and played defense. With 225 boats in those opens, man, you can't run around and practice for more, because if you leave that spot, somebody's going to come in on top of it. Not just because they know I caught them, they might have found it too, but then what you run into there is if I was to catch them on that place on day one early and I leave and you catch them in the evening right there, day two to blast off, if you're sitting on it, I have no room to tell you that you can't fish it. Does that make sense? So I had to kind of play my cards right, because if I stay there all day and I don't let nobody on it, then on day number two, I can. And I knew I was going to be early on day number two, boat number wise. So I knew if I could get on it, if I got on it at first on day number one, and I didn't let anybody get on it on day one, I stayed there all day till I checked in. The chances of me getting on it on day two were super high. So that's what I did. And then on day two, I had another ride at 17, which I kind of am a little disappointed in that day, because my scale on day one said I had 1630 and I weighed in 17.2. And then on day number two, my scale said I had 1693. So in theory, you would have thought I had more on day two than on day one compared to my scale. Well, I was wrong. So I actually weighed in a little shy of 17 on day two. But I moved up to fourth going into the final day, and I was sitting right where I needed to be to have a shot to win. And it just didn't work out. I mean, Easton Fothergill caught a 9-pounder on Bass Live on FS1. Like, somebody catches a 9-pounder on the final day of the tournament, it's just their time to win. But it was an unbelievable week for me to get things turned back around. I've had a rough year and a half or so, and for my mom and my girlfriend, my sister, and my best friend Daniel get to drive up there and watch me fish all day and watch me weigh in. It was an awesome week.
Daniel's about to get married, isn't he?
Yep, this Saturday.
Saturday. Okay. Somebody said that I don't remember who it was that I don't remember where I heard this, but they were saying that you and somebody else, Daniel moved his wedding because of you and somebody else, so y'all could come because of your fishing.
Me and his stepdad. Yeah. Because he was trying to book it the weekend I had the Open, and I had actually told him, like, dude, like, that's a big thing in life. If it comes down to it and I'm not in contention for points or whatever, I can miss. And he's like, no, dude, I'd never make you miss it. And then so Jeremy had the ABT the next weekend, so we had to push it back 2 weekends so that me and Jeremy could be there. So
that's the reason you should get married in, like, I don't know, September's normally not got a lot going on, but
yep. It's not so hot.
I got married in April, at the end of April, so it's a it was the last weekend of turkey season, and I had a couple of buddies that weren't real happy with me then. I'll be honest
Yep.
with you. But my wife said, "No, I don't care if they're happy or not." So, so
Right.
uh,
That's right.
well, man, we're awful proud of you. We were pulling for you. A funny thing that I just have to note, and I didn't get to watch much of it because I had some stuff going on, but I was driving down the road at one time, and I did have the Bassmaster Live playing on my phone, laying kind of hung up on this little thing that holds it on the windshield, and Ronnie Moore and somebody you were on the screen for a minute and you were bobbing up and down. It was on the last day. You were bobbing up and down, and one of them says, "Trey Swindle may fall out of a boat." And Ronnie Moore goes, "I'm pretty sure Trey's hair qualifies as a PFD." I'm not gonna lie to you, I just busted out laughing right then. That was pretty funny because you know you got a little flow or whatever you want to call it going on right now. It's sticking out from under that hat. And so
Hey, you got to give them something to talk about. They're always going to find something. I'd rather it be my hair than something else.
Hey, you know what? Ronnie Moore was talking about you on Bassmaster.com. That's a pretty good deal.
Exactly. If that's the worst thing that happens to me, then I'm thrilled with that.
And they did joke about the insurance thing, that sign that your mom held up. So, you know.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure. I know there was a couple people that kind of, which, you know, our two listeners that probably won't get no reach, so I'll say it anyway. But, yeah, there was a
hey,
couple
we're up to
people
7.
at
Remember, we made the
Bassmaster.
state guy mad.
That's right. That's right. So we're up to 7, but there was a couple people from Bass that I think kind of got a little, you know, maybe a little butthurt at the sign, thinking it was kind of a shot at them, but it really wasn't. You know, my mom's just got that sense of humor. She cried for 2 years, and she's finally over it enough to where we can joke about it, you know, and it was awesome. Dude, it was funny. I laughed. That loosened the mood up for me because I was so high strung and, you know, wanting to win the tournament. And then I walk over there and she's holding that sign, and we just all died out laughing. Like, if you can't laugh about it, what are you doing? Right. Like, it's funny. You got to give it to her. That was one of the best signs.
Did you know that? You knew it was like, you knew she made it. You just didn't know she was bringing it out, right?
Yeah, I knew she had made it. I just didn't know that she was going to have it. And I honestly I mean, let's be honest, I hadn't caught Jack Diddley squat in about 2 years, so I kind of forgot about it, to be honest with you. So when it got pulled out and had dust cobwebs on it, it was funny. It was a good one.
That is pretty funny. Man, and I know you've been gone for a week, but prior to that, you were fishing Guntersville some, and the ABT was there this past weekend, and they wrecked them pretty good. I mean,
they did, and I didn't get to keep up with that. You know,
clearly you were fishing.
I was fishing. Yeah, I was fishing, but after I weighed in and finally got settled in at the house and kicked my feet up, finally, I looked at the leaderboard, looked at the results, and man, did they catch them, dude! That lake is just popping off. Like, it is just unbelievable.
It was miserable hot, and Fisher and Ryan and I are Ryan and Fisher. Ryan's older. That's the daddy. So, but Fisher's got it figured out there, you know, and those guys won it, came in early because they were concerned about their fish. So they came in early and weighed and still managed to pull off a win. I think there was over 20 boats with 20 pounds. And that's, you know, the number we always measure, but man, watching the weigh-in, I watched some of it that afternoon because it was 126 degrees and I wanted to sit in the air conditioning. And, I was shocked at how many people came up there with 18 to 20 pounds that were catching them on a frog or, you know, throwing a Cinco in 5 foot of water. It was pretty amazing to me how many fish were still shallow.
Yeah, that's the thing that's incredible, blows my mind about Guntersville. It's like everybody thinks, you know, a lot of times on the Tennessee River this time of the year, you got to be fishing out deep. And that's one of the main things I love about Guntersville is, does it fish small sometimes? Yes, it does. People get on top of each other, but most of the time you're going to have guys that are going to fish their strengths. Just like you said, like you could tell by the pictures, a lot of those fish, I would be willing to say the majority of those fish come from less than 10 foot of water in the grass. You had your guys that caught them out deep, but that's the thing. Like, it was cool to see a lot of different people catch them different ways.
It did look like Fisher, which, I mean, you know, he is a live scope guru, and it did look, but I heard him say on one little second of the live that I saw that they were watching him swim in and out of the grass. So, I mean, I think his was deeper, but grass related, you know, some of it anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and I called that about 2 years ago. You know, I love fishing out deep, but I called that. I was like, man, the way that the grass is growing, and every year, I know you're out there as much as I am, and seeing the seeing the grass grow deeper and deeper every year, I said within 2 to 3 years, we won't be ledge fishing anymore. It'll all be grass related. And I think that's what it's coming to.
Yeah, a lot of your 10 to 14 foot ledge stuff is covered in grass now. So, I mean, or you're looking for the holes in it or whatever. But,
and that's a little aggravating, but man, that's good for a fishery because they can hide in that grass and not get as pressured as if they would on a shell bar. Right. You know what I mean? Like they'll see a million baits on a shell bar, but when you can't idle them and see them gobbed up because half of them's inside of the grass, it kind of protects our fishery. Yeah. So I think it's good for it.
The floating stuff's dang sure protecting it. What's real amazing is those folks were able to do that during the middle of all this floating stuff because I've not been bass fishing since the splash just because of the other priorities, but we spent a weekend at the lake and did the family thing, and man, there is a lot of grass floating out there. There's a lot of grass growing out there. I went up to Casey's Barbecue up in Roseberry and by like in our runabout boat, and from about I'll call it the mouth of Turd Creek. People that know Guntersville know where Turd Creek is, but from just past there, when the bank starts narrowing down, just before you get to County Park ramp, like there is millful from one side of the bank to the other right there, in 8 or 9 foot of water out in the middle. It was solid millful all the way across. I mean, like 6 inches under the surface, and I'm running wide open in a boat. But I mean, there's a marina there. I mean, it's deep enough. But that was I had not been up there this year. I was like shocked. I mean, it wasn't just this was attached grass, not floating grass. I was just shocked at how much there was. So
yeah.
So where are you headed next?
I have I'm home this week, and then I'll be home for the 4th. But I will be packing up all next week, and I leave for St. Clair on the 5th, July the 5th, which I think, if I'm not mistaken, is next Friday.
Yes.
So I'm super excited for it. That tournament, I ain't going to say I just had a great chance, but it brought me right back into things for points to qualify for the Elite Series next year. I mean, it's a slim chance, but if I was to, I'm on a little roll right now. I had to go in at Logan, had to go in at Eufaula. If I was to keep the train on the tracks and keep going, there's a slim chance I could be on the Elite Series. So I'm excited to get up there. I'm not a smallmouth fisherman. I'm probably gonna be up there winding my chatterbait around like I ain't got no sense, but you never know. It might work out. So I'm excited for it.
Hey, I'm gonna make a little confession here, and yours is coming right behind it. I'm a little bit of a live scoper now, and you just proved that you are.
Yep. That's the thing, man. And I looked at all the comments and stuff on Facebook, and I caught some heat in the comments. Of course, basically a little curly headed prick staring at a live scope. Basically, is what some of them said. But dude, if people only realized how many times I wanted to throw a buzz bait just to hear it squeal when I'm reeling it back to the boat, they would laugh, because I cannot stand doing that. But to compete at the level that I'm trying to compete at, is what you got to do. We've talked about it on this show a lot, and I don't like it. But if fighting 4 to 5 pounders in on a spinning rod, if you think that ain't fun, I don't know what to tell you.
It's fun.
Is it fun? It is fun.
I've done it. I've been working with that, and then in the last month, had kind of started figuring that out. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's fun. I've always been scared of spinning rods, but it's pretty fun. So, well, Trey, man, again, we're proud for you. I'm glad you pulled that off. I'm really hoping you'd get a W out of it, but hey, top 5, you can't complain about that either.
No, absolutely not. And I appreciate it. Big shout out to everybody back home. It was really cool to see my phone. I think I had 1,000 text messages after the weigh-in Friday.
Holy
my
smokes.
phone, the amount of support that I got, and I think everybody felt so bad for me because I got DQ'd from the last one. Everybody's been waiting on me to make another one, but man, it was incredible to see everybody back home around Guntersville, where I live. People I went to school with, family, friends, everybody keeping up with me. I appreciate it more than y'all know. So thank y'all.
And well, we're going to see if we can't get Tim Chandler on here to talk a little Guntersville fishing with us. You got time to hang around, or you got to go?
Yeah, I think I can hang around for a minute.
All right, let's see if we can get Tim. I've got Guntersville guide Tim Chandler on here with me and Trey. Trey's remote today, but and of course so is Tim. But Tim, thanks for coming on here to join us today.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks for having me.
I tried to have Tim on few weeks ago. All right, that was a chicken. Trey, is that your chicken?
I don't have it. It ain't mine, but there's one near me. There's one
Okay.
nearby.
I thought I heard that earlier. So anyway, I just had to bring out there was a rooster in the background. It's the middle of the hot afternoon and we got roosters crowing. I don't know what that means. So
if he ain't careful, Trey's gonna have fried chicken.
that's right.
He better be quiet.
Yeah, it adds a whole new dimension. We've never had a rooster on. So, anyway, I tried to have Tim on a few weeks ago, and I screwed that up. And because of my real job, life gets in the way sometimes. And then Tim was leaving town. I think he went on a little trip, and now he's back in the sweat box we call North Alabama. So, Tim, tell us what Guntersville's doing right now.
Well, it's actually, the fish are biting. It's hot. If you don't mind the heat, if you can get out there and, start at daylight, 5:15 and fish about 9. Sometimes we get that northeast wind flow in the mornings. We actually fished yesterday morning, and it was actually good. I had a 85-year-old and his grandson that was 12, and if I would have bet money, we'd have been done by 7:30. Man being 85,
Mm-hmm.
He lasted the entire time 4 hours because we had that easterly wind flow. So it was actually really, really nice. And caught some fish on top water, caught some fish on a worm in the grass. And it was a pleasant day. I know they enjoyed it. They don't get to fish like I do. So
Right. That northeast wind's still blowing at daylight a little bit, huh?
sometimes it's like glass, but last week we had 2 days of really, really strong winds. I don't know if it was around the lake at that time, but it blew like 20 miles an hour for 2 days straight last week. What is today? Today's
Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Yeah. No.
Run. Yeah, it was last week, but we got the easterly wind flow yesterday. Considering I didn't fish out there today, I don't know if we got it or not. More times than not, when it starts getting really, really hot like this, we don't get it.
Right.
It just starts off slick, and you got sweat rolling down your back by 7:30. So, but we fished good yesterday. We had a good time.
Yeah, you had a little wind. You could actually find somewhere to throw a top water without the floating stuff.
Well, at first, yes. It's funny because the wind was blowing. We get there, and it was kind of calm, and we kept fishing. And then the wind started shifting just a hair, and then it started messing my place up, and the daggum topwater about went away. And I'm like, well, I guess we're gonna go to a worm. So, sometimes you can tuck behind an island or a peninsula or something like that and get out of it. But,
right. Are you primarily out on the river right now? Most of your fishing's out Main Lake stuff.
No, I was actually in the creek yesterday.
Really? Okay.
But last week I had really good luck, and I was on the main river. I spent most of my time on the main river.
Have we got some willowfly hatch going on out there yet?
It's very small because I've seen I fish in the mornings or whatnot, and on the weekend I like to go get on the pontoon boat and mix in with all the crazies. And I've seen like 4 or 5 actually willowflies stuck in the spider webs that were up underneath my pontoon. So yeah, we got some somewhere, but I hadn't seen that big hatch. I hadn't even seen the carcasses on the water yet. So
I saw some on the lower end the weekend of the splash. There was very few up mid-river, but like down Browns Creek, there was quite a few that weekend. And the only time I've been out was when I was out with the crazies. I haven't fished since the splash. I had some other things going on, and I have gotten out with, as you call it, with the crazies in the pleasure boat a time or two. But man, it's just almost too hot to be fun for me right now. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older and wiser. I don't know. Trey'd be out there.
Yeah, Trey,
I'll be out there. I ain't got no sense though.
Well, this is coming from a kid. Look, Tim, you didn't hear this. We talked some before you got on there, but like Trey just recently hit the back. He got a camper shell on his truck and built him a little bed back there. And then he goes to Eufaula, Oklahoma, and his first stay out there, the low at night was like 85, and he's sleeping in that thing.
I couldn't do that.
Aren't you glad you wasn't his roommate?
You wouldn't cuddled up. You wouldn't be cuddled up under 2 or 3 blankets. I can promise you.
Do they have good mosquitoes out there?
Big as your dadgum hand.
So you couldn't leave the hatch open. You had to close it.
If I did, they'd pick me up out of the bed and take me somewhere else. I had to be careful, lock all the doors. Them mosquitoes out there ain't no joke.
But he said for a top 5 in an open, he'd suffer like that every trip. So, better him,
Yeah,
better him than me.
I'm sure he would. Yeah.
Better him than me. Tim, what
Well,
do
if he keeps on, he can buy him one little window unit to stick in his camper on the side window there.
yeah.
Like,
Get you a
that's
little
what I
Honda
need.
generator and a little window unit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, hell, you were at a campground. You got power. You just need something to plug
Yeah,
up.
I got power. I got me one of them little Amazon special cooling fans, but I'll be honest with you, that sucker wasn't keeping up with that 84-degree heat.
You couldn't keep the place cool during the day either. So
No, you could have put 19 bags of ice in that thing and it melted before you got them in there.
Yeah, you're gonna have to buy you a swamp cooler and mount it in there somehow. That does work well. So
hey, Tim, on those non-wind days on Guntersville, how's the gnats this year?
if you get up towards Goose Pond, they'll carry you off.
Really? Yeah, we're
Right. Say south to South Saudi, it's not so bad.
not as much grass on
Okay.
top.
I don't know, man. It's a weird thing because the last couple of years for me, if you get right there above South Saudi around the Langston area,
Mm-hmm.
even in the wintertime, they'll carry you off up there if you don't have that little bit of breeze. I don't know what it is, but you go down south and it's not near as bad. But I haven't been above Langston in the last month or so because I can imagine how bad it is. It's getting up there with them daggum things.
Oh yeah, but you used to be real good at the whole gnat chewing, short, big rod braid flipping. I mean, back in the day, in the hydrilla day, that was you were pretty strong at that back when you fished tournaments and stuff. I mean, I don't know where you did it, but I'm sure you chewed on plenty of gnats back in those days. So.
Oh yeah, I mean we did it. We hated gnats so bad. I can remember when my old tournament partner, he got the idea and he bought one of these like one of those beekeeper hats, that had the netting around it. And we would be out there flipping with that netting all the way around us, 360 around our head. That was the best thing we ever bought. That way they couldn't bother you, because you had to sit out there and grind it out, just flip.
So what I used to do is I take an extra deep cycle battery and a power inverter and put it in the front rod locker, and I put a fan on the front deck blowing on me, and it didn't keep them off of you, but it helped.
I wasn't as smart as you are. I just put that little beekeeper hat on.
Yeah.
If I run by a mat at Guntersville and send you one of them on, I wouldn't know what to think. I wouldn't know if you was crazy or the smartest person I've ever seen.
Hey, Trey, if you got into gnats like they were in the late 90s and early 2000s, you'd think he's the smartest person you've ever seen because, buddy, they were thick.
I mean, it's bad. You couldn't even see your trolling motor. You didn't know where to pull the trolling motor up at because they were covered.
Oh, it was awful.
Like,
Holy smoke.
Yeah, it was awful. And Trey said he's done. He's got to do some flipping. He likes it, and of course that grass is coming back a little bit. But I know that man, back then, of course, I fished till something open to hunt. To all said July, August, whatever. It didn't matter. Now I'm kind of like, it's pretty hot. I think I'll stay home. So slide out just a little while. But so Tim. It's the dog days of summer, and it's really hot. I mean, we're on a really pretty hot streak. We need some rain. It's dry. It's hot, and probably not a lot of current. What do we expect, say, now through July, fishing-wise?
Catch them early, catch them real late. When I say early, you're going to get out there and get it out of the way by 8 o'clock. Late in the afternoons, people get off work at 6 o'clock to dark. They'll catch them. A lot of times when people come home late in the afternoons, they get off work, they go home and they turn that air conditioner down or up, however way you want to look at it. They need more power. They run a little bit more water in the afternoons, which will generate a little bit more current out there on that ledge stuff, if that's what you like to do. So that's why you see a lot of times you can go out there during the day, in the middle of the day, and struggle on the ledges. And then these little wildcat tournaments in the afternoon, they'll go out there and just smash them.
Yeah.
It's because they're pulling that current, but they wasn't pulling it at 1 or 2 o'clock. They won't start pulling that stuff at about 5 o'clock, so.
Those afternoon bites are definitely a little better if you can manage the heat. It sure is hard to leave 73 degrees in the living room to go to 103.
You ain't kidding.
But you were supposed to do, and you said got canceled today. I'm like, that's when I texted you yesterday. You're like, I'll wait for it to warm up a little bit before you go fishing tomorrow. So,
yeah, well, I'll be out there daylight tomorrow.
It looks like we got a little front blowing in. They're using the chance of severe and stuff like that. That ought to make it interesting tomorrow. So,
22979.
I don't care if we get I got a lot start getting lightning, man. I don't know. It just kind of spooks them.
Yeah. Yeah, them fish. I've never felt like the fish. You know, anytime you had a big lightning storm, it seemed they weren't happy for a day or two. But so you're pretty much going to be throwing a topwater, a worm, a jig, something grass related from now till the foreseeable future.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just all about the fish will stay put as long as they're not banged on too hard and the food's there. Food's everywhere. You know that bluegills everywhere, shads everywhere.
Lots
of
bait.
I mean, there's a lot of bait. You know, so a lot of crawfish going on right now. I've got a picture when I caught one early this week. I pulled him up and looked down his throat. And I swore it was a lobster. It was probably one of the biggest crawfish I've ever seen. I said, my God. You know, and then about 3 fish later, catching the other one, and he spits crawdad up on the boat. And I threw my jig right beside it. I said, hell, it's an identical match.
Was it green?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Green with orange pinchers.
Green with orange pinchers. See, that's good to know.
Yep.
That's good to know. They definitely, I have mostly seen green this time of year. Mikey Balls posted a picture of one spit up in his live well the other day. It was red and black. But now he said that somebody had told him that it was because it was partially digested and they changed color inside the fish. Because most of the time they are green this time of year. So
yeah, they are. And I mean, mostly it's a dark green, almost like green pumpkin type green. But mine was orange. So, and I could see that if they're digested, you know, they're going to change color. So.
Oh yeah, I never have understood crawfish, but there's a reason green's good on Guntersville. I think there's more than one reason, but it seems to be the thing. But well, Tim, it sounds like we're stuck in the dog days of summer. You're helping us wrap up our little podcast season. You are the last one this year, probably. We normally end in June, so. I can't thank you enough for that. If somebody wants to get in touch with you to go sweat and catch a fish, how do they need to get out? How to get in touch with you?
Well, they can call me at 256-655-8292 or look me up on Facebook, or they can go to milldrillerfishing.com, which I know nobody can spell that, but
I
just
spelled
Google.
it once, but Google Tim Chandler, you'll find it. Hey,
if you just Google Tim Chandler Fishing Guide, I promise you'll find me. So
back when you made that website, mill driller meant something, right? You know, mill full hydrilla, and you know, I mean, it mattered. But now it could be floatingeelgrass.com.
That's exactly what it is.
Matter of fact, I may go buy that domain just as soon as we hang up, just in case for something. I don't know. So this may be a good idea. So, well, gentlemen, Tim, I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk Guntersville with us, and I apologize I had to cancel on you a few weeks ago. And we'll be in touch soon, and take care.
All right. We'll see y'all later.
All right. See ya. Trey, hard to believe we've done this for the 3rd year, isn't it?
Crazy. It's crazy. I mean, we're gaining on them.
That's right. We're up to 7 people.
We're up to 7 people listening to this podcast. I mean, we are really next year, y'all better step it up.
Step it up. We want 10.
That's right.
Up to 10. So, we keep getting people push us to go to video. I don't know how to do video. I had somebody tell me how to do video. Trey said he had a face for radio. I know I do. So I don't know what we're going to do. I think our goal is to be back. It's one of those situations where we have people reach out there and send messages and say, hey, you know, I like your podcast, this and that. We really thank you for that, because we'd have probably quit if we didn't get that. And I mean, the truth of the matter is, we would. And just as soon as I turned my head and go, you know, I don't have time for this. I mean, it's kind of fun. I enjoy it. I've met a lot of people. But then people start sending messages. Hey, when are you going to put one out? When are you going to do this? And so here we are. Back talking about floating grass and Guntersville fishing. Your hair. I don't think we brought up the dude shoes much this year. So, you know, I'm sure you did you have on dude shoes while you were getting a top 5?
Nope. All flip-flops.
All flip-flops. So they dude flip-flops? Do they make dude flip-flops? I don't know.
No, but if dude wants to sponsor a guy, I mean, I'd wear some dude flip-flops.
That's right.
They wanted to holler.
Yeah.
No, they can holler at me. I'll wear them.
Make that boy some boots, so when it's February, he can wear dude boots instead of dude shoes, because he's wearing them stupid things when it's cold. So, well, Trey, safe travels to your trip up there. And hopefully it's not 85 degrees in the back of your truck. And hopefully none of those Eufaula mosquitoes are living back there till you get there. and they'll probably freeze to death up there. I think you're supposed to be in the 60s. So, man, enjoy your golf. Thank you again for doing that with me this year. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
And,
I've enjoyed it.
And you go play some golf, try not to melt, drink some water. We'll talk to you soon. And for everybody listening, we really appreciate it. Enjoy the floating grass, and we'll see you about January, February, if we don't slide one in between now and then. Thank you much. Have a good one.